Okay, you have a minute for introductions. Go ahead.
Looking student Anaku Dakwan. Hello, my name is Riel Houle. I'm a member of the Begunning Nation. Born and raised. Walked these gravel roads in the wind, just like today. Dealt with every experience every other community member here has went through. My mom's sitting right here. Her name's Dyla. She's my mother. My grandfather was Albert Yellowhorn, and people knew him as Sigabee. And then my great grandfather was Yellowhorn, and my grandmother was Delma Yellowhorn, and that's the family that I come from. It's a pretty big family, and going into this election, I have faith that my family's going to vote for me. But I'm more depending on everybody as a whole to come together and to vote for me. And that's pretty much who I am.
Okay, so you do have 5 minutes to answer each of the questions. You don't have to take up the whole 5 minutes if you don't want to.
Okay.
So you can choose your question.
I suppose I get the hardest question.
Okay. Do you think there are ways to improve safety along the highway for nation members who hitchhike during the day and night?
Absolutely. Very, very good question. One of the questions I've actually been thinking of too. I think it's really important for vehicles to go slower through our community, especially the main highway coming this way. There's always people that are hitchhiking, and that's their means of getting around, especially at West Crossing. I'd like to see the kilometers go down to maybe 20 kilometers an hour, and probably even maybe some better signs and people to slow down. And I want them to slow down for a nice stretch of our reserve. I would like to start it by, actually where the current speed limit by Michelle's old place there goes down and past West Crossing. And not only just for the safety of our people, but also for the economic development part. People fly through our reserve. You'll be surprised how many more people turn into a confectionery store or a gift shop or whatever when they're going slower. So it does have its benefits, and if elected, I do intend to approach the province on this matter and get our speed limit changed to go through our reserve.
Okay. Next question. Do you think there's potential to expand the ranch and for the nation to farm its own land rather than hiring third parties to?
I think that's a question the last council battled with. I believe they did try to go into doing their own farming, and by nature that's a good ideology to have, a good attitude to have. We want to be go-getters, we want to do stuff like that. But there's, in terms of a feasibility study, a leakage study, cost of benefit analysis, and determining if it's an organizational issue or a project issue, because there's a huge difference between organizational structure and project structure. I don't mean to use all these big words, but I do see an opportunity, in agriculture. We have had Sproul. Sproul has come in and he's done, has leased our land and farmed our land for many years. And, it's good, but I do know for a fact that he was giving us an undervalue because he had a monopoly on our land. So the last chief and council took it upon themselves to go out and to do it, and it didn't really work too well, but that's a part of growing, and that's something that we have to understand. So solely leasing it out, that would be something that I think would be beneficial for a conversation with the quorum that I have in council. But if we're succeeding, we're making money off of it, I'm all for it. That's what I'm here for, and that's why I'm running. I'm running to get us some more revenue, get us some more money. Not only that, but also I see a huge potential for Buffalo. Buffalo is a huge market, And Browning's doing it right now, and they got a lot of free buffalo, and they have a nice section of land there. I think it's about 500 plus buffalo. And why don't we have that? Why aren't we getting into it? Why are we trying to be cattlemen? You know, and a lot of us are, but it's so commercialized up until now. Buffalo is lean meat, doesn't have any fat, and you know we survived off it for thousands of years, so we're experts at it. So I say I'm all for the buffalo. That's one of the things I was thinking of with the ranch, especially.
Okay, thank you.
An easy one.
Okay, what kind of transparency are you willing to offer to the community throughout your years or your tenure as a council member?
Well, first of all, transparency to me personally means honesty, and I've always been honest. I've been honest my whole life, and you know it doesn't make a difference. You know, so many people use this word transparency and they use it really loosely, but to me it means honesty. And moving forward with that attitude is what I've always really been about. And not only that, but there's other ways to prove that we're transparent. And I'm looking here at my friend Adam Wurzberg. He's really good at it as well. He understands it. And it's going on social media and telling the people through that particular way what's going on. And I see it a lot from Troy Knowlton. He's always there and he's always telling people exactly what's going on in there. And if they got any questions for him, I'm the same way. And if you have any questions for me, I'm going to give you a plain, honest answer. And to me, that's what transparency is. So I think we really do have to use the internet is something that's huge in terms of communication and unifying our people. That to me is a big part of transparency.
All right, thank you. Okay, next question. Okay. There are many community members and elders with disabilities in Picani, many who are situated across the river where it's harder to access resources in Rocket. Do you have a proposal for helping these people access resources in hard times like winter or year-round?
Well, to me, my background is project management and carpentry and building stuff. And I've always said it, building all these houses that we have to make standard for handicap. All of our doors have to be 36 inches wide. We have to have ramps on all of our doors, and we have to start adopting a universal way of building houses to complement our older people who are in wheelchairs and in walkers and such. But not only that, but I've really battled the question of people going across the river and having to go through Somerview or else having to go through McLeod. And it sucks because they have to go all the way around. It's resources, it's gas, and most of all, it's time. And when things take time, especially for our elders, it gets really hard. So I want to put forth an initiative to build a bridge. And I've heard this time and time again in past councillors and their campaigning saying that they're going to build a bridge. But when I say I want to build a bridge, I really, really want to build a bridge, because that's my track record, is building. Look at these houses in Brockett. Who do you think was the first one to go there and break soil and start on these foundations and start building? It was me. I'm not bragging about it, it was. It's a fact. And we helped boost this infrastructure in all these houses in Brockett. We also even, we did stuff to cut down procurement costs. Things like going to Pacific Homes to build houses. We had a huge problem with our procurement. Our contractors were, running away with all the money when we give them the money to buy the material, and it was a dilemma. So what did we do? Well, it started with me, Barney and Ferlin. We went out to Pacific Homes in Nanaimo, and we went to talk with them, and these guys were selling packages that were all in one, and they made life a lot easier. Hence all these houses that are built on the reserve. And I know a lot of them are tiny homes. Like, we have some small homes, and there's been people that are critical of it, but they don't know the next phase after that. And I think only me, Barney, and Ferlin are the only ones that really know the next phase. And that's to build additions onto these small houses. that's what it is. So just a little bit of information.
Okay. And then there's one question. Okay. What kind of outreach do you have in mind for off-reserve voters?
That's another really good question. I mean, like we have 2 polls right now. We have the Lethbridge one that was last week and the Calgary one, and then we have the one tomorrow. You know, people are more than welcome to come if they live off the reserve or wherever. Do come and do vote. I'd really like to tell you that first and foremost. But I talked about this at the Lethbridge Forum as well. And we're moving into a paradigm. And what a paradigm shift is it's a change in times. And right now, the internet is only about maybe 20 years old. You know, we really have to start harnessing it. And a lot of people are leaning more towards online voting. And I think in terms of unification and unifying our people, I think that'd be great. Right now we have, you know, everybody's addicted to their smartphones. We see it, all the time. They're all on their smartphones, and it's their way of being connected. And I'm not much of a socialist, but you know, there's a connection there, and you know, people can always go onto the internet to vote. And that's something that I'm thinking about. And I mean, I'm just here for ideas. I love building on ideas, and that's what I do best. Is I like to build on ideas. And you know, I think I would invite a lot of people for feedback on it. And I mean, of course, we probably have to go to a vote. But you know, to unify our people, look at the last designation. There's a gas station that's supposed to be going by the highway here. How many people showed up to vote? We had about not even 300 people showed up to vote. And how many people voted no? Almost 300, or actually almost 300 voted no, and then there's like 80 some or 70 some that voted yes. So are we unified? No, by all means. We have, what, 2,500 eligible voters, and we need all their voices in our, and we need initiatives, and we need people that are gonna step forth and make this stuff happen. And if elected, I'm gonna be that guy to help us get our voice out there, get us together, get us working together, stop dividing, work together, cohesion, membership. I see it every day, and I've seen it in all the places that I've worked here. There's potential for it, but I would say online voting, let's maybe make it a reality. Who knows?
Okay, all right, thank you very much.